In the Cage with Bards, hosted on IntheCage.ca. I am your warm and convivial host, Carlin Bardsley, bringing you the best in MMA talk. It is the most fun you can have without being punched in the face. And joining me today are the gentlemen who will be competing in the main event of XFFC 6, happening in Grand Prairie, Alberta on March 20th. A truly stacked Canadian show. Welcome to the program, Bristol Marunde and Michael the Messenger Hill. Good day, gentlemen.
What's up, man?
Well,
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, good to hear from you both. This is exciting for me. I've had the good fortune to speak with you both several times over the past few years, and the thing that strikes me about you both is just how laid back the two of you are. I mean, is it hard to maintain such a relaxed demeanor in a sport like prize fighting? Bristol, we'll start with you.
Is it hard to stay relaxed? Yeah, it is actually. The fight game it can be stressful, but you just can't let it get to you. You just have to know who you are as a person and be true to yourself. Don't try to go out and act like someone else because you'll be exposed. So as long as you stay true to yourself and your personality and train your ass off, show up and roll the dice and see what happens.
Mike, what about you? Is it hard for you to stay as relaxed as you are?
You know what? It's not that hard. It's just what I was meant to do, man. You know, I know Bristol's a vet of this sport, and you know, I love this sport, man. I love training, and you know, we've both been on some of the biggest stages in the world, and you know, we do our job professionally. We're professionals of the sport, so you know, there's a stress with each fight camp, and that comes with each fight camp, and you know, family and friends and training, but that's what makes us martial artists, man.
And I just want to say thanks, Mike, for wearing a shirt today. I think that's the first time I've ever seen you with a shirt on.
Yeah.
I almost didn't recognize him.
You know what? There's I got my own washer and dryer here, and there's not 16 other dudes fighting for a washer and dryer, so
sure.
It's a little chilly here in the gym too, you know, before it gets warmed up in the morning. So yeah, I got a shirt on right now.
It's a different look for you, I'll say that. Now, what about lining up against someone who's kind of got that calm demeanor? A lot of fighters, you know, they seem to have to build up a rage towards their opponent. I know Ken Shamrock has talked about that at length, but there's not a whole lot that's unlikable about either of you guys, really. Mike, does it make it harder to want to punch someone in the face when there's not a whole lot obnoxious about the guy?
No, not at all, man. I mean, like I said, I respect Bristol. You know, I stayed in the house with him on The Ultimate Fighter, and I follow him on Facebook. And you know, he's a great guy. He's working hard. He's a family man. And but at the end of the day, when we step into that cage, I know that, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel through Bristol. So I know I got to punch him in the face to be better and to get that W, man. So it doesn't make it any more difficult at all.
Bristol, what about you? You know, I'm a big fan of the Marunde Mean Mug. I think it's one of the best mean mugs in the sport outside of the Diaz brothers. Is it going to be harder to shoot those lasers through a guy that is as affable as Mike?
You know, yeah, I mean, we are professionals, like you said, and we see that a win over each other takes us to a better place, and for each one of us. And so is it harder to punch a guy, you know, that I lived with? No, it's not any harder. You know, afterwards, maybe when we talk and, you know, whoever wins and loses, it'll be, you know, kind of an awkward conversation of, well, okay, good job. You know, we don't want to hear that from each other. But we're competing, and when you're in the cage, you know, the actual act of punching people, it doesn't really matter who it is in front of you. There's so much going on, and you've trained so hard to do this that when it's go time, you hit the gas pedal, and there's no stopping. It doesn't matter who it is. You know, if they put you in there with anybody, you're going to go out and you're going to compete, and that's what he said. We're martial artists. We're obviously very competitive, and we want to win. And it doesn't matter if it's a chess match or checkers or fighting. Like, we want to win. We're competitive people. That's why we do the sport. So it doesn't really matter who we fight, where we fight. We want to win, and It's in us. It's in men, and I guess women now too. But it's mostly a masculine thing to want to be a winner, to prove yourself right. And that's why we do this, because when we do prove ourselves right, it makes it all worth it. And so is it going to be harder to mean mug him? Oh, of course. We'll probably make each other laugh. But, you know, it is business, and I don't expect him to pull any punches, and he shouldn't either.
And as you mentioned, you do know each other from the Ultimate Fighter season, Team Carwin against Team Nelson. Bristol, you were on Team Carwin. Mike, you're on Team Nelson. What are some of your memories of the other one from that show? Bristol, we'll start with you.
Well, it's I think in light of it, me being outside in Vegas right now. It's beautiful. It's sunny. I often remember gazing out the window at Mike, laying in the backyard, with his bare ass hanging out in the sunlight, getting a nice golden tan on his bare ass cheeks. That's a very vivid memory that I cannot get out of my mind. I've tried to erase it.
I was not expecting that.
So that's one fond memory I have of Mike sunbathing in the backyard with his pants down.
I was hoping you wouldn't tell that one, man, but.
But Mike, what about you? What are some of your memories of Bristol from around that time?
You know what, man? Bristol was just a laid back dude, man. What I remember Bristol, he was just focused, and he was just always talking about his family, man, his wife and his beautiful son, and you know, there's nothing bad to say about the guy at all. You know, when it came fight time for Bristol, you know, he was really focused, and yeah, you know, that mean mug he put on, but you know, other than that, he was just focused, man, and he was a family man, and I respected that. And I had some teammates, Colton and Julian, they shared a room with Bristol, and you know, both those guys had good things to say about Bristol too. So, you know, like I said, I respect the guy, and you know, yeah, man, there's not one bad thought about Bristol in the house. You know, he made fun of me that one time I was tanning my butt out there, but you know, man, my tarp was off so much, dude. I had to get looking good for when I got back home, man. So nothing much else to do except hang out outside and, you know, enjoy that Vegas weather, man. I mean, those cameras got played out after, you know, the first week. Is just had to do something to keep your mind focused and you know, have some fun with the guys.
What do you guys think about the Ultimate Fighter now? I mean, is the talent pool getting thinner? Is the format getting stale? I mean, for me personally, other than the recent season they had with the Canadian fighters, my viewing of it has been kind of hit and miss at best, I guess. What do you think, Bristol?
Yeah, I think it's gone a little stale. They've used the same format too many years in a row, and I think that the fighters are all the same, and there's plenty of talent in the world to pull from, but they just needed to mix it up. They need to bring in more outside lives, because you can take guys inside the house, but you're only seeing a small part of who they are as a person. So I don't know. I always thought they should do more of what they are from back home and their families and their lives, and tell the story about the person, not just in a house where they want you to drink and be stupid, because nobody wants to see that. After the first couple seasons, that just got old. You know, but this next season looks pretty cool with the two top, you know, American top team and Black Zillions versus each other. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, that is an interesting twist on it. What about you, Mike? What are your thoughts on the staleness or lack thereof of the Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, you know what, man? To be honest, I since, you know, halfway through our season, I kind of just stopped watching the show. I remember, you know, our last day after the last final fight there, you know, Dana White pulled us all together and he said, you know, it's some of you guys aren't gonna want to fight anymore. Some of you guys' careers are gonna go downhill, and it's gonna be, you know, the real guys that pull through this, from all the drama coming after the show and stuff. And I really had to focus away from that show and all the keyboard warriors and all that kind of stuff, and so I just stopped watching TV altogether, man. When the Canadian version came, I checked it out a bit, Canada versus Australia, but I think they kind of got to put a twist on it, man. I like the first season when the guys played games to pick their fights, and I don't know, maybe throw a little bit of the first season in with a little bit of like a Bachelor, throw a girl in there or something. The guys can fight over the chick. I don't know, twist it up a bit, but yeah, other than that, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting this next season for sure.
Yeah, that would be an interesting reality show type twist to it. Now, you really seem to get along pretty well, but you will be stepping in the cage against each other on March 20th. Like you said, you're both professionals. You're ready to do this. What do you think about fighters that say, "Oh, wait, I know this guy. He's a nice guy. I don't care if there's money on the line. I don't want to fight him"? Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, and Bristol said too, there's with a win, there's a better chance for whether it's a UFC contract or, well, for me anyways. I know Bristol's been in the UFC already. Bristol's been in Strikeforce, but I'm trying to get in the big show again, man. And I know a big win over Bristol just puts me that much closer. I mean, I think he's ranked, 50th in the world at welterweight. I'm something like 150th. I haven't fought in a year. I think taking big fights against guys here in Canada like the Joel Powell and the Ryan Ford and the Ryan Dixon kind of scared most Canadians away. So I knew I deserved a good fight and a big name, and I knew Bristol was a big name, so I wanted that. I wanted that challenge, and on the show, Roy Nelson wanted me to fight Bristol, so he said I'd do pretty good over him, and so I'm just kind of keeping that thought, keeping that vision, and taking the chance I get, man. And when they offered me Bristol, I was so excited.
All right, so I guess this one's for Roy. Bristol, what do you think about guys that don't want to fight people that they know?
I don't agree with it. They obviously have never been on the Ultimate Fighter and had to fight their roommates and friends. But the fact that somebody says, no, I'm not going to fight you because we've trained together for years, it's a cop out. That's maybe they don't think they're going to win. That's probably the issue there. To say you don't want to fight a friend, it depends on how close you are. I mean, like, obviously if you're a brother, you're not going to fight your own brother. Being a Nick and Nate Diaz, I wouldn't fight my own brother anyway. But the sport's small. You're gonna run into people, so you have to fight everybody. If you don't want to fight, then find somebody else. But for us to deny a fight because we know each other, and it just doesn't make sense. I think this is a good opportunity for both of us to go in and compete, and the winner's going to move ahead. And like Mike said, it's a good opportunity for him. He beats me, he steps ahead. I beat him. That's 4 wins in a row for me, and all my last 3 opponents have had a great record. Their combined record was like 48-12. So Mike's got a good record. That just adds to the list. I move forward. It looks good for me, and I'll go from there. I just take it one fight at a time. I don't really have my sights set on one promotion or not. I want to stay busy and win. That's the important thing for me right now. And I think the pace and the shape that I'm in is unstoppable. So I'm going to go and test that. And that's what Mike presents for me is a test where I can go and compete. And I think I can do it. I think I can. The way I'm sparring in my gym with top-notch fighters, they can't handle my pace and my shape. And I want Mike to test that.
How have you evolved since The Ultimate Fighter? How are you different? How are you progressed as a fighter, Bristol?
Well, one of the big differences is when I went on The Ultimate Fighter, I hadn't trained in 3 months. I'd been busy working, and so it was hit or miss in the gym. So a big difference is that I've been putting time in and more concentrated effort. So I've learned to say no to business opportunities and to females in my life. Female. say no, I'm going to go train. And so it's important to put the time in. So, I put a lot of time in the gym, and I'm in good shape. So I've learned to be selfish and take what I need to be a better fighter and a better martial artist. So, I've been testing that. It's been working, and I'm willing to just keep doing it.
What about you, Mike? How have you progressed since your time on The Ultimate Fighter?
I'm just getting better every day, man. I'm a full-time fighter, right? So I'm training every day. I took a trip actually to Colorado, and I actually got to train with, Bristol's old coaches. And then from there, I went and helped Cowboy Cerrone out with his fight against Miller. And then I came, back to Vancouver, and I found a great team and great training partners that are pushing me to be better every day. So I got to see how, someone like a Neil Magny, for instance, man, that kid is, he's crushing it in the UFC right now, and I got to see how he's doing it, and Cowboy Cerrone, I mean, that guy, he trains with his coaches at a whole different level. So, being back here, I've got to take little bits and pieces from those guys and add it to my game. And I know I haven't fought in a year, but I'm still grinding every day, man, getting better every day, and I can't wait to showcase my new skill set.
All right, now let's talk about your fight specifically. Where do you think the matchup favors you the most? Mike, we'll start with you.
I think me and Bristol are the same type of fighter, actually. I'm just a little bit younger, and he's a little bit more weathered. That's about it, man. I mean, he's a veteran of the sport, and he's had more fights than me and been punched in the face more times than me. But we both like to bring it. We both come striking. I haven't watched many of Bristol's fights hit the ground. So I don't think it's going to go to the ground, but if it does, I'm prepared for that too. Like I said, I've been working all aspects of my game. I know everyone thinks I'm just a full-out striker with some good conditioning, but I'm a mixed martial artist, man. I'm professional. I've been working every day on every part of my game, and I'm going to look for the knockout, of course, and I'm going to look for submission, and wherever Bristol, takes it, I'm going to be ready anywhere.
All right, Bristol, where does this matchup favor you the most?
I think it favors me in the top position. I have a good ground and pound, and I've been bringing that back, and it's been working well for me. So I think controlling my opponent and ground and pounding and just staying active and on top and constantly grinding and pushing the pace is where I'm going to find my advantage in any fight, and that's where I look to and find it with Mike. I mean, don't tell him I said this, but I think that me pushing the pace is going to make the difference.
All right, I won't tell him if you don't. All right, now, Bristol, you are a guy that has that strong wrestling base, but overcommitting to your hands, it has cost you in some of your previous fights. Is getting into a firefight with someone like Mike something that concerns you?
Yeah, I think getting punched in the face should concern everyone. Keep my hands up and pay attention and be very calm in the firefight is important, because as soon as you stiffen up and become afraid of punches, that's when they hurt the most. So, am I afraid of getting knocked out? No, I'm not. I'm just going to be very cautious and mindful of it. I know it's going to come. It comes from everybody. Everybody has strong punches, especially with the 6-ounce glove. Anybody can knock you out, and I'll be looking for it, but my hands will be up and I'll be on point. So he can bring it all he wants.
All right, Mike, this is going to be your first time in the cage in over a year now. Is ring rust a concern for you?
No, ring rust ain't. I don't know what ring rust is, man. There's no such thing as that for me. I come from a good camp. I started with a good camp in Toshido Mixed Martial Arts. Like I said, man, I'm in the cage every day. I mean, look, I'm in the cage right now. I live in a cage, man. This is what I want to do for a living. This is what I do for a living. I mean, I don't have another job. I train full time. You know, it's what I was born to do. So, you know, once I step outside, you know, when that music hits and I walk out to the cage, it's a big smile on my face. It's go time, and just another day in the office.
All right, Bristol, you kind of alluded to this earlier. Your career is on the upswing recently. You're putting some wins together. I know you're saying that you wanted to take it one fight at a time, but is that still in the back of your mind, maybe getting back to the UFC or getting a big contract with a promotion like a Bellator? Do we have you there, Bristol?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, a little bit of a bad connection, but can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, you know, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, is the UFC in the back of my mind? Yeah, it is. I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder about it. I'd like to end the way I want to end my career, and I want to do it. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you know, so to answer your question, let me start over. Yeah, it's the UFC in the back of my mind. You know, I think I have a chip on my shoulder, and I want to end the career, and you know, and off of a good, and to go in and you know, fail at something that they've put, you know, thousands of hours into. I want to succeed, and if the UFC is a part of it, I'd you know, very much like to go there and win. I think I can compete at that level, especially with my, you know, trainer Robert Follis and Extreme Couture. We're on point, ready to go. So if it's the UFC, that's fine. I mean, there's other good shows in the world that with plenty of good fighters, but that's just the best and the biggest. So would I like to go there and win? Hell yeah. And I have a chip on my shoulder, and I'm ready to do it. So I've been putting in the work, and I'd like to, you know, ultimately to pay off.
All right, Mike, what do you think about the Canadian regional MMA scene? I mean, there's promotions like the one hosting this fight, XFFC, and some other promotions in Alberta that are running consistent shows. But it seems like lately it's difficult for Canadian fighters to find fights, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, man. I'm not sure what it is, but I mean, I'm a little ticked off at it too. I mean, you know, I fight anybody, anytime, anywhere, and everybody knows that about me here in Canada. So, you know, when it came to finding a big fight, you know, nobody wanted to help me or bring that in. I don't know if it's a money issue or what it is, but you know, you can only fight, you know, once you get to that high level, you can only fight each other so many times before, you know, it starts getting boring and nobody wants to tune in and watch. So I think these promotions got to start bringing in guys from the States, or you know, mixing and matching their fighters. So, you know, I asked a few promotions after my contract was up with World Series, and you know, XFFC jumped on it, and they've been really, really good to me, man, in trying to find me the right fight to get me to that next level. And so, you know, I'm fighting for XFFC now, man, and yeah, I can't wait.
Excellent. All right, gentlemen, super serious question time. What is going to be the post-fight beverage of choice at the after party? Bristol?
You can never go wrong with whiskey. I'm a man of whiskey, and that's probably what I'll stick with.
All right, Mike, what about you?
I'll have a whiskey with you, brother.
There you go. What do you say?
Right,
Loser buys the first round?
What was that? I didn't.
No, the winner buys.
Oh, winner buys the first round. All right, sounds good.
Winner buys the loser of the first round.
All right, sounds like we have an accord here. All right, guys, I've had a lot of fun today. Hope you guys have too. But before you leave, we have to lay some heat on this fight here. This has just been too nice. It's been too gentlemanly. It's been too sportsmanlike. I want both of you to say one mean thing about the other one. Mike, go first.
Bristol, I'm gonna punch you in the face, bro. So you better be ready, man. Hands up.
All right, Bristol, what's your shot?
All right. My shot. Man, you me on the spot on that one. My shot. Oh, you know, this fight. Coming to Canada, and I'm gonna beat you in your own country, bro.
There we go. All right, that's about as heated as it's going to get between these guys. I got the feeling.
Yeah.
All right. All kidding aside, this is going to be a great fight. I'm actually really, really looking forward to it. You guys do bring it every time you step in the cage, and I'm excited for XFFC 6 on March 20th, Grand Prairie, Alberta. You can catch a stream of the event on GFL.tv. Thanks again to both of you for joining me, and just let the people know where they can find you in the social media universe, and if you have any thank yous or shout outs you want to give, now's your time. Bristol, go ahead.
You know, don't mistake our kindness for weakness. We're bringing it. This is going to be an awesome fight. You can watch it on GoFightLive.tv, so check it out. If you can't make it up to Grand Prairie, it's going to be a good fight. And you know, I want to thank Darren, the promoter, for setting this up. This is pretty awesome. Coming to Canada to fight a tough guy, and the winner moves on, man. I'm excited. So that's it.
Right on. Mike?
Yeah, make sure to tune in, GFL.tv, Grand Prairie. You know, you can find me at MMA Mike on Twitter, even though I don't use it that much. But that's my social media for everything. And, you know, I just want to thank, you know, Ryan's MMA and Checkmat Vancouver here, Adam, Ryan, his wife, Bhavani, and their kids for opening the doors, and my teammates here for pushing me every day to be a better fighter and a better, you know, better young man and growing in this sport. And, yeah, it's going to be an exciting fight. It definitely has Fight of the Night written all over it. And, yeah, man, don't blink.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you again, gentlemen. That is it for me here on In the Cage with Bards, hosted on IntheCage.ca. Thank you all for tuning in, and until we meet again, the bell has sounded.